Hello, welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you're joining us today. I hope my microphone, I got to check, make sure my mic's on, everything's good. Hey, we have got two fantastic cards today. These are called Sidestep cards. Now, I'm going to put this one up because I want you to see how cool this card is when it stands up. These are so easy. I know it looks complicated. You guys know at Simply Simple Stamping, we're always going to simplify the process. And these are great cards. And guess what? Guess what? These are going to fit inside a medium-sized envelope. So yes, you can mail these. We love that. So we're going to be creating both cards today. I've got some great ways that we're going to use water painters. So I thought I'd do something a little different today. All right. Well, we like to give everyone an opportunity to get on live with us. And I've got Brenda. She is over there in YouTube, and she'll be answering any of your comments. And Christina is over in Facebook, so she'll be there to help you as well. And welcome, you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are things going with you?
Well, we're slowly digging out.
Yeah, Brenda got hammered with snow.
Oh.
Lots of snow. I think what's happening, you probably got all that snow that was in California and it came your way.
I guess we call them feathers of spring.
We're kind of seeing spring here in Oklahoma. We've been having really.
We kind of were too. I had like my hollyhocks were starting to come up, and then bam, it was late, but it showed up drunk. So
it's all gone, you spring.
Oh, and it doesn't want to leave. It's like that last person you just can't get to leave your house.
Yeah.
Go home. We want to go to bed now.
Well, we were talking earlier before we came on live, and Brenda was mentioning some comments that we got last week. Let's talk about that real quick before we get started. Oh, let me say one quick thing before we do. I know that some of you, this chatty part, not your thing. That's fine. Do me a favor. When the live, if you're watching the replay, you can scroll forward, and when you see my hands and the cards, that's when we're going to start. But we do like to give everyone a chance to get on and just kind of chat for a little bit. So don't turn me off just yet, because we will get to stamping here in just a second. But Brenda, what were those comments we had last week?
Well, people are saying, how do I turn off the ads? I hate when ads pop up during the video. And so I did a little research, and I believe Christina did as well. We have no control over that. That's a YouTube thing. And it seems to be you're targeted by what you search, because people would mention different ads. And I'm like, well, I didn't see that ad, but I saw ads that kind of would have been more along the lines of what I'd been looking for. So I did do some research. There are apps you can purchase to try to stop the ads, but on the reviews, it wasn't great. They weren't great. But Christina, you said there is another option.
Yes, the best way that will guarantee that you're not seeing the ads anymore is to become a member of YouTube Premium. So it's kind of like if you have a streaming service and it shows commercials, you can upgrade to a paid service so that you don't have those ads anymore. YouTube has that as well. I believe it starts at about $14 a month. Personally, I watch YouTube every single day, multiple times a day. So for me, that price every month was well worth not having to deal with the ads anymore. If it's not that way for you, that's okay. I will say I have heard people say they've tried using ad blocker apps and stuff, but YouTube knows about them and is able to either go over it or you just won't be able to access YouTube. So we can't guarantee that any of those are going to work, but upgrading to YouTube Premium will get rid of all ads for you.
And I sit here and I go, 50 cents a day. I should probably upgrade to that because I have it on a lot, and now those ads are, I get it. I might have to look at that. Well, thank you. And I appreciate you guys giving us your feedback. Because you got to remember on my end, as I'm recording, I definitely do not see those. But yeah, like Brenda said, it is kind of out of our control what you see and how often. Some of that's just how YouTube works. So
we did get a comment on Facebook from Fran Ward saying she has ad blockers and she still gets YouTube ads. So they figured out how to go over it.
Thank you, Fran.
And I just got one over here on YouTube. Ina says that because she watches a lot of YouTube, she does premium and it's worth every penny.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Personally, I think it's worth every cent.
Yeah,
Good.
I
Good to know.
think I'm going to look into that myself. Yeah, cool. Well, shall we get to stamping?
Yes.
These
Yes.
cards are so fun. They are so fun, and I'm really excited to teach you guys how to do these. So we're going to start with this one. We're actually going to make both of them today. So I do want to get started so we have time to get through both of them. As always, you guys know I always give you a free download that goes along with the video. So friends, you're going to have your measurements. So don't write anything down. Just go grab this download and save it to your computer. It's so much easier. You'll have the photos, supply list. I've heard from some of you, you really prefer your visual learners. I am too. So now we're going to give you a visual of the supplies so that you can see that clearly instead of just reading it. Sometimes you go, oh, wait, that's called Let's Chat. Okay. So that's available for you as well. Oh, and if you are in the United States and you want to order any of the supplies I use, you can just click this big image and it'll take you to my online store. You can order what you need. All right, grab your free download. It's simplysimplestamping.com, or look down in the YouTube description. There's a link, and Brenda and Christina will put that up as well. So, well, let's get started. So yes, we're going to use the Let's Chat stamp set. Okay, this is retro and fun, and it's 1000% me. So I've been dying to do a card with this one. We're going to be using 2 ink pads, Coastal Cabana and our Memento Black. Let's talk cardstock. Coastal Cabana, one of my favorite colors because it's kind of Tiffany blue, and I love that. 5.5 by 8.5, and I'll tell you about the scoring on that here in a minute. And then I have a 3.5 by 8.5. And next, we're going to bring in some basic black. Let's see, basic black. I've got a 3.25 by 4 and a 2 3/4 by 5.25. And 2 pieces of basic white. These are going to layer. So 3 by 3 3/4, 2. Oh, sorry. Let me try that again. 2.5 by 5 and 3 by 3 3/4. That's all we need. All right. So let's do some quick scoring here on our Coastal Cabana. This is all in that download, by the way. I'm going to put the 8.5 inches up at the top. I'm going to score this. Let me get my cutting blade out of the way. At 1.25, at 2.5, and at 5.5. Guess what, guys? No cutting and all that. You know, we're not going to do anything else to that. This piece, I'm going to score this at 4.25. All right. That's all we need to do. I'm going to go ahead and bring in, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring in my bone folder, and I'm going to start creasing all of my score lines. And this one, whoops, we're going to accordion fold. Okay. So this one's going to go like that. All right. So you'll kind of see your visual when you fold it, how it needs to go. Okay. You know what? I think we're going to go ahead and do our stamping. So I'm going to set these off to the side. And for this one, I am actually going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat and my Coastal Cabana ink pad. This stamp set that I'm working with is a photopolymer set. And many of you have asked, how come you don't use your Stampin' Pierce mat? I actually love this mat. I think sometimes I just forget. And so, you know what? It's really great, especially when you're working with solid stamps. You know, we've got these solid stamps, and I really want that cush that I get from this mat kind of pushes back up on my stamp a little bit, and I just get a really good, clean image. All right, I'm now going to take the receiver. Oh, do we all remember these phones, right? And I'm going to put it, oh, you know, there's really not a right or wrong, but let's go about right there. All right. I'm going to move this off to the side here, and I'm going to bring in my Memento Black. And a little tip for this one, maybe it's just more a tip because I've got a really narrow space here. I'm going to just lay a Post-it note right there on the edge of the phone, because I'm going to take that swirly cord, and it's too big. Can you see? It would hit. So I'm going to do it like this. And that way, see how we did that? So little Post-it note, scrap piece of paper, whatever you want to do. Let me find my word ring. And we're going to say ring, ring. So stamp that anywhere. Okay. We got that done. You know what? I'm here. I'm going to go ahead and add this to the matching piece of basic black. I always love to hear from you guys if you're stamping along with me. Oh, Diane, she says cute. I know this stamp set is adorable. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side for a sec. And now I'll go ahead. This is where we're going to write our message, okay, here on the back. So for this one, we are going to say, here for you. And stamp that there. And let me go ahead and I'm going to grab my Coastal Cabana. This little heart is in there and it's just too cute not to use. And let's add this to our other piece of basic black. That way when we're ready to put our card together, we're kind of all ready to go. So add that there. All right. I think I'm going to do some stamping here on, I guess I'll go ahead and bring this back in, on my card itself. And I have a little hello. And if you'll just put that at an angle here on both ends. Okay. And this was just kind of fun. It's just kind of a little, I don't know. It's just, for me, it was a little corner accent. And we'll do that there in Coastal Cabana. Okay, I do have one more bit of stamping, but I have to wait on it, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way because guess what? We're ready to kind of put this card together. Can you believe it? I'm going to start. This is oh gosh, what was this? This was 3.5 by 8.5. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some adhesive right here on this front panel. I'm going to open this up, center it up from side to side, and we're going to adhere that down. Okay. Now I'm going to adhere all of this here. And I got to tell you, I think the easiest way to do that, oops, come on, adhesive, is to put the adhesive here. Make sure it's going to line up there at the bottom. Okay, we've got that. I can now add my message here to the back. You may have seen Sidestep cards where, you know, they do some creative cutting in here. And I think those are great too. But if you guys are like me, sometimes I need a little bit more simple, quick, easy. And that is definitely what this card's going to do for you. Now, I said I wanted to do one little bit of stamping, and that's right here. Now you can see why I wanted to wait to do that. I wanted to have this done. And I love this. Let me show you. I'm going to just stamp it here. Hey, I don't know. It makes me smile. All right. I've got that. So yeah, stamping is done. Now I'm going to flip this over and we're going to add our telephone. And then you guys, we're going to add some bling to make this really awesome. Okay. Adding that to the front. I mean, already really cute, right? You have room to write your message. Okay. This is where we're going to have some fun. I'm going to bring in my rhinestones. This is optional, but I don't know. It felt like it needed it, right? So I'm going to use, let's see, what size did I use? I think I used, yeah, I did. I used these bigger ones. And I'm just going to lay these right over the rotary part. You know what? I'm kind of at an odd angle there. Let me try that again. All right. I'll tell you what. I'm not going to add all of these because you kind of saw how that goes together. And when it's done, it's going to look something like that. So fabulous, right? Here for you. Hey. Yep. That's how easy it is to make this Sidestep card. Okay. I'm going to show you one more. And that's going to be this one here. And this is a stamp set. Let me grab it here. Blueberry bunches. And if you guys have followed me for a while, you know anything with fruit I love. And so this stamp set has been one I have really, really enjoyed. But we're going to do a fun technique on this one as well. So here we go. The measurements for my cardstock is all the same. I'm going to be using blueberry bushel for my cardstock, and my back pieces. So these were the basic black over on the other card. I'm going to use Starry Sky. And the only thing extra I'm using here is another little piece of Starry Sky and basic white. And this is for my sentiments. So this one's going to be put together a little bit different too. So this would be a 1 inch by 3.5. And the basic white is a 3/4 by 3.5. All right. So that's the only thing we're doing different. And I'll tell you what, guys, for this, I'm actually going to start with my stamping. And I am going to bring in this great big stamp and a Memento black ink pad. And we're going to be using water painters. Do you guys have the water painters? Maybe you have the old aqua painters that Stampin' Up! Used to sell. Either one of those is going to be perfect here. I'm going to stamp this over on the right side. Okay. And let's bring in, I've got 3 ink pads. So I've got Blueberry Bushel, Starry Sky, and Granny Apple Green. And you know what else I have? I have 3 acrylic blocks. And let me show you what we're going to do. I'm going to start with the Granny Apple. And I'm going to be using a little bit more of the Granny Apple. And I'm going to make myself a little ink pad. Okay. You guys, if you've seen how people take the ink pads and they squish it so they get that little puddle here, I don't like the inside of my ink pads to look like that. That's why I do this technique. So it's optional, but just know I do it because it's just a little bit cleaner. And then I don't have to clean the inside of my ink pad. Let's do a little Blueberry Bushel. And we'll create another little ink palette. And when I'm done with these, by the way, you just rinse them in the sink. Not a big deal. All right. I am going to grab my aqua painter. And you have options. It's an aqua painter. You could fill it with water or rubbing alcohol. I personally really prefer to fill it with rubbing alcohol. I just think it does a really great job and it dries faster. So don't think you have to do that. And as far as what percentage rubbing alcohol, there's really no right or wrong. Okay, so what you're going to do, and to fill it, by the way, just to let you know, it twists the opposite way of what you think. And you just fill it with your rubbing alcohol and put that on. There is, you can't see it, but I can. It says push. So what we want to do is I'm going to push on that. And do you see how I got a couple drops of the rubbing alcohol? That's what I want. And I'm going to load that up. And they're called aqua painters or water painters because that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to paint. And I love the look. I'm not a good watercolor artist, but I don't know, something about working with these aqua painters, you kind of get some detail. Now, to do this, you are definitely going to want to be using the Memento Black because it's going to be able to, it won't smear. So, and hey, why don't you guys let me know? Do you have the water painters? Have you used them? I haven't used mine in a long time, so it was kind of nice for this card to bring them out. I'm going to go ahead and get the stem. Okay, now what I'm going to do, you know what? Will you guys stick with me for just 1 second? Because I'm also going to take that basic white. I should have stamped this at the same time. I'm going to take this one. Well, it doesn't matter. You could choose either one. But we're going to put one right here on the side. Yeah, I forgot. I should have done that too. Okay. So let's go ahead. This is why I wanted that Granny Apple Green to kind of be on a bigger block. You can see I'm using a lot. If you need to, push the sides there to get a little bit more of the alcohol flowing. And I'm going to try to get through this as fast as I can for you guys.
Real quick, Mom.
Yes.
Diane Gorski said, I thought Memento was water-based.
No, it is not. That's our classic ink pads. These are definitely water-based. Water-based dye ink, the Memento, that's going to be safe for your blends, for, yeah, this type of watercoloring and stuff. Yeah, but I'm glad you asked the question. That's good. That's good. Okay, you see how I'm cleaning this? I'm just kind of squeezing it, and until I see that it's clear, then I'm good to go. I'm going to start with the blueberry bushel. Again, just give myself a couple drops there. And let's see, that feels like it's a little thick. And I'm going to avoid the, I don't know, what's that thing called, Bren? You probably know. What's the thing in the middle of a blueberry called? Why don't we Google that? Should have Googled that before we came live. What's the middle of a blueberry called? Okay, so we're going to do that in the blueberry. Okay. Let me come over to this one. Again, I'm going to try to get through it really quick. So if I get a little messy, you guys know I usually do a little bit better, right? Okay. But I kind of find this really relaxing. And here's the thing. If you can color, you can do this. Oh, and by the way, when you buy the water painters, it comes with 3. I'm using the middle one. So there's one with a great big, you know, maybe about 1/2 inch wide area. And then there's this one that I'm using, and then a little teeny tiny one. So you will definitely have options. Okay, so I have those done. I'm honestly, I don't even think I need to mess with trying to get that blue out of there. Because now I'm going to come in with this starry sky, and we'll just hit whatever the tops of blueberries are called. And it does, it gives it just a really pretty, isn't that nice? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry while I finish up my card. Okay. All right, we've got that. You're just going to run this back and forth here on your grid paper until it's clear. I'm going to move these out of the way, but like I said, you'll just run those underwater. Not a big deal. Okay. Now I'm going to come in. Let me go ahead and remove this because it's wet. I think that should be good enough, because now we're going to do some stamping. And oh, real quick, I am going to clean this stamp because it had black ink on it.
Hey, Connie.
Yes.
Judy has a really good idea. She said if you stamped the ink that was on your blocks just on another piece of cardstock, you could use it for a background piece.
Say that one more time.
Judy said that if the ink that was on your clear blocks just used, if you stamped them off onto a piece of just background paper, white or something.
Oh, sure.
You could use it as a background piece.
That's true. That's true.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. That's kind of like a block. It would be a block stamping, right? I think that's what we'd call it. Something like that. All right. I'm using the Starry Sky here. And I think I saw some of you guys talking because, yeah, Starry Sky is going to be retiring at the 1st of May. And if this is a color that you have and love, this is the time to go ahead and start stocking up. If you don't have your ink refill, get your ink refill now. And if you need extra cardstock, definitely get it before it's gone. Those
real quick.
Colors. Yes.
Catherine asked, how long does it take for the ink to dry?
Which I think you're talking about this. It's already dry.
Probably.
It's already dry. So not long.
And Helen said, my Memento Black is water-based. Just read the back of the pad.
Oh.
I stamp stays in when using water-based inks to color. Yeah.
Acid-free, water-based. Maybe just because you know what? Thank you for correcting me on that, guys. But it does say it's a fast drying ink. But I mean, you guys saw me color with it. and I didn't have
Connie.
any bleeding. So yeah.
And if you're worried about it, you can heat set it with your heat gun, your heat tool, and it won't bleed.
Gotcha.
And somebody else says the star shape of the blueberry is called a calyx.
A calyx. Thank you. See, we all learned something today, you guys. We learned something. All right, so you saw that I just stamped randomly all over the 2 pieces of blueberry. Now, I'm going to add this at a different place. So remember on our first card, we went right in the middle. This one we're going to bring over here to the side. So yes, you have options when making this card. And I love that. It just doesn't always have to look the same. So I'm just lining it up here on the edge and at the bottom. I'm going to flip it over and I'll put adhesive here. Bring that over. There we go. Super easy. We'll add these pieces. Like I said, they do dry very quickly. Oops. Let's add a layer. I thought something's missing there. All right, we're going to add that layer of that starry sky. And we'll put this right here and this one here. And then we will create that sentiment. And it's really easy because, again, I wanted you guys to have lots of options for how you work with your Sidestep cards. We'll take this. Of course, this can be on either side. You know, I think I'll put it on this side. It doesn't matter. All right, we're good. Now for that sentiment. You know what? I'm going to, through the magic of television, I stamped sending you bunches of birthday wishes. Connie needed more coffee. I'm going to use my Banners Pick-a-Punch. If you don't have this, don't worry about it. You could just hand punch a little flag. I'm going to put the flag here on the front part of my sentiment. Okay. And I'm going to adhere this together. And it is going to hang off just a little bit. Just a little bit. And we'll just trim that away. And I'll put some adhesive here. No dimensionals on this one. I didn't, it's kind of already a thick card, so I didn't want to do any more. We're going to add that right there. Do you see how it's kind of hanging off a little bit? And the last thing that we're going to do, again, just to save some time, let me just bring in my final card. I used the 4-pack tinsel gems, and they had some that were in that blueberry bushel. And there you go. Isn't that so cool? So I'm going to bring in my first card. Guys, give these a try. They are just fantastic. And remember, they do mail in a medium-sized envelope, so you're not going to have any issues with that either. Fantastic cards. Remember to get your free download that goes along with today's video, because I want you to be able to have those measurements and the scoring and all that. Give these a try. Mail them. People are going to love that these cards will kind of just sit, pop, and they were easy, right? Super, super easy. So, all right, friends, I do need to let you know a little heads up about next week's YouTube Live. There will not be a YouTube Live next week. I'm going to be in Houston with Brenda, and we are going to be attending the Stampin' Up! Conference that will be there. So we will be in the middle of classes and all kinds of fun. So I will not be live with you next week. So just a heads up about that, but I will be back the next week. I've got cards lined up for you guys. And of course, they're on Simply Simple Stamping. Lots to see and do. So I hope next week, instead of going live, maybe you'll just go over to my YouTube channel or to Simply Simple Stamping. Do a little digging. Look through. See maybe a video that you missed. We'd love to just have you still join in. So thank you. Thank you, Christina and Brenda, for being here and helping me out, answering those questions and comments. And thank you for sharing your comments. It's so helpful. And again, my apologies on the black ink. I really didn't think that one was water-based. So thank you. You taught me something today, and I appreciate that. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Click like, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and be sure to subscribe. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.